With Season 3 of Outer Banks recently being released and concluding the way that it did, it certainly looked as though it set up what looked like is going to be an adventurous Season 4 where the group are going to be on the lookout for more treasure, but this time at the request of a client. So big things are on the horizon. So with that, I thought I'd take a look at all that was out there and give my theories and predictions on what I think could happen next. So let's get into it. Here is Outer Banks Season 4 Everything We Know. Just to let you know, this video will contain spoilers. The release date. The Season 4 release date is something that's currently unknown and up in the air, but what we do know is that the show has definitely been confirmed for a 4th season. It was announced just before the 3rd season of the show was released, so there's nothing to worry about in terms of it being cancelled. With the story being left on a cliffhanger and setting up a new plot, it's something that I'm glad is definitely on the horizon. So if I'm to predict when a new season of the show could potentially be released, the show has usually taken just over a year between the release of each of the 3 seasons. For example, Season 1 came out in April 2020, the 2nd came out in December 2021, and the 3rd in February 2023. So by taking the previous dates into consideration, I think it would be safe to assume that we'd get a new season around June or July 2024. This will most likely allow for the writing, production, editing, and the marketing of it, so we've got a little while to wait until we see what the group is going to be getting up to with their new client. In terms of the structure, I think it's safe to say that we'll most likely be getting 10 episodes that are around 50 minutes in length, with one of those being extended for the season finale, as that seems to be the formula that the show seems to follow. The story. With Season 3 of the show marking an end to the Tanny and Eldorado adventure that they were all a part of, we saw that 18 months after Eldorado was located, there was a sense of unfulfillment that was present with where the group were now at within their life. The adventures had stopped and they were all doing what they would define as their dream job. However, it wasn't enough. We saw a gentleman approach the group with a journal that contained the exact coordinates that a ship sunk in 1718. This was Blackbeard's ship. Blackbeard's ship was known to have sunk with a large amount of treasure on board when sailing across the seas, treasure that to this day has never been found and could potentially be lying at the bottom of the ocean where the ship sunk. With the gentleman saying how he would have done it himself, but due to him being too old to do so, he wanted to find some partners, the group was the best option for him, especially seeing as though they located Eldorado, a city that had been gone for over 500 years. They were starting to become known across the land as the go-to people due to their reputation. So I think we're going to see them accept this opportunity and they'll then set off to go and find Blackbeard's treasure in the middle of the ocean. It could potentially be one of the more dangerous quests that they've done due to it being out on open water, but it's nothing that we've not seen them do before. It'll be interesting to see them tackle this, as I imagine as they gradually get closer to finding the treasure, they'll most likely be opportunists like Carlos Singh who will want to get a piece of the pie and will be prepared to take out the group in order to keep the treasure. Outside of the main arc that will most likely be unfolding, we've got the storyline of Rafe that I think we're going to see developing more. With his father Ward leaving everything to him prior to his death in the season finale, and it now being 18 months later, I think we could see 2 things happen. I think either Rafe will have changed and become a better person like we got a glimpse of when he stopped the hit on his father, or we're going to find out that he's run everything into the ground and that he'll now essentially be living a life that's alien to him. This could cause him to feel angry, disappointed, and go deeper into a path of darkness, especially with his sister Sarah almost viewed as a hero for solving a 500-year-old mystery and having wealth from doing so. He could potentially be envious of her and look to acquire the treasure that they're finding. I feel the writers are at a real turning point with Rafe, and it's going to be interesting to see what they're going to do with the character, because it could quite literally go either way and be just as entertaining if it's done well. Then, with regards to the individual stories for the main characters in the group, all 6 of them are in relationships with one another. John B and Sarah, Pope and Cleo, and JJ and Kiara. I don't think all 6 of them will be together by the end of Season 4. With Pope and Cleo quite fresh in terms of being together, I don't think we'll see them break up, but with John B and Sarah already having turbulence and JJ and Kiara having moments of madness and uncertainty too, I think it could be one of those 2 couples. I personally think that it will be JJ and Kiara that split up. I think they'll realize that they work better together as friends and love each other in that capacity, rather than in a romantic one. With their parents also seeing them for the successful young people that they are, I don't think we'll be seeing them holding them back anymore and sending them off to rehabilitation centers. I also feel we could see one member of the group potentially feel as though they're done with the adventure and want to lead a normal life. Personally, if that does happen, I feel it could be Pope. Pope was planning on going back to school, and we know that he's an extremely smart individual that could have other ideas to go off to college and things like that. So there could be a crossroad of decisions that will need to be made in order for him to find his own happiness and purpose. There are so many different directions that the show is able to go in when it comes to writing a 4th season. However, I think the Blackbeard story is a definitive part of what is to come, but everything else around it has the potential to be molded into something that we've not seen before, where the characters will have developed, they'll be older, and I imagine they'll be looking to find purpose and meaning together and individually. The characters. With there being several characters getting killed off at the end of the season but coming back from beyond the grave not necessarily being something that has ever been ruled out, I think there could be a few character changes in the new season. With Big John and Ward Cameron being killed off, I think that was definitely it for them. There's no coming back unless it's in the use of a flashback of some kind. The character Carlos Singh will also not be returning following him not leaving the cave before it caved in on itself. But then, in terms of characters that will be returning, I think we'll see John B, Sarah, JJ, Kiara, Cleo, and Pope, as they're all crucial to the show and each bring their own dynamic to the group. I also think we'll see Rafe and Topper have some involvement too. Outside of this, I think we'll also be introduced to some new characters along the way. With the group setting off on an adventure to retrieve Blackbeard's treasure, I feel they're bound to meet some new people on their adventure that are good, but also some that have bad intentions. And I also believe they'll be checking in with the gentleman who hired them to take on this quest at the end of Season 3. The characters are what makes this show so good, so I feel any new characters that the creator gets on board will hopefully be good choices. For now, we've got a little while to wait until Season 4, but I'm looking forward to seeing what's to come. Unfortunately for now, that's all that's known about Outer Banks Season 4. I'm sure more information will be released as time goes on and we get closer to it being released. So, there you have it, Outer Banks Season 4, everything we know. If you want to see more videos such as endings explained, theories and predictions and character breakdowns, then click on the I button. Or alternatively, you can head over to my channel where you'll find them all. If you'd like to give me a show or movie that you'd like me to review, then head over to my Twitter, @brainpilot_, and tweet me what show or movie you'd like me to review next. And finally, if you'd like to see what I rate the latest movies that don't quite make the cut to getting a dedicated video, then head over to my Letterboxd profile. It's where I rate the latest releases in real time. What do you think is going to happen next? Leave a comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time.